Hello everyone, welcome to Marketing A716, Marketing Management. This is Chapter 7. In Chapter 7, let's focus on branding and positioning. Branding and positioning. Okay? As icebreaker, let's have a quick discussion. Okay, the class will be broken into small groups. Of course, this is an online class. I want you guys to get it together as a group and look at this little exercise and have a discussion among yourself. Right? And this is about the product life cycle stage. Right? And I want you to read the pertinent portion in the textbook about product life cycle. Right? This chart here on the right shows, the industry revenues versus industry profits over the different product life cycle stages. Okay? The first stage, of course, is the development stage. The company will develop a prototype of the product. Right? And if it's successful, they're going to introduce that to the market. That's the introduction stage. And then the sales will go up. That's a growth stage. And more competitors will join after the first mover made their debut. And then as time goes by, more and more companies join the effort, more and more products are being offered, more sales are going through, and the product may enter into a maturity stage, reaching the highest point in industry sales. Right? And then eventually it may go decline. The product may become obsolete or no longer useful, or people will switch to other substitute product or newer product. Right? If you look at the industry sales figure, the blue line, you can see it goes up, initially goes up, and it goes up fast during the growth stage, reach the peak, maturity, then go down. Okay. The purple line is the industry profits, not just about one company, but whole industry. The industry profits starts at zero or negative, as the companies spend money to develop that, right? They have to spend money on research and development, R&D, and there's no revenue income stream yet, right? Therefore, it's below zero, right? Below the horizontal line, right? And the x-axis is the time. As time goes by, as they develop the new product and came up with the prototype and test marketed and formally launching the new product, say commercially, that's when the profit starts to. The profit will reach bottom during the introduction. Initially, even with the introduction, the profit is still negative because they haven't recovered the full R&D cost yet. And then as the sales continue, the later stage of introduction, the later part of introduction stage, the profit starts to go up. Eventually, just before the growth stage, it becomes positive, above the horizontal axis. That's when the industry on this product start to make money, make profit. Right? You can see then the two lines are in almost parallel. Okay? And also you should notice that the industry profit starts to decline before the industry sales decline. Okay? This is understandable because as more and more companies join the race, more products are being offered. The profit margin becomes thinner and thinner, and eventually the profits will drop down, earlier, sooner than the industry sales, and the profits could reach zero or close to zero, no profits, way before the decline, to the low point. Okay, so that's the product life cycle stage. The chart shows the sales, industry aggregated sales, and aggregated profit. Okay? I want you to, once you have your group together, you can find the forum, you can find the chat group, email list, email group, or face-to-face, whatever way you want to find. I want you to get together and discuss this. I want you to do some background research on the following markets: wearable technology, like Apple Watch wearable technology, DVDs, and pizza. Okay, DVD and pizza. Okay. Which stage of the product life cycle is each of the three currently? Okay. Pizza. Which stage is it in? Technology, or DVD. Okay. What market characteristics lead you to feel this way? What market characteristics lead you to feel this way? Why do you think so? Okay. Your group could share each other, discuss that among your group members. Okay. That's icebreaker. Okay. In this chapter, we're going to cover brand and brand name and brand mark. Okay. Understand the strategic issues in branding. All those strategic issues in branding. Understand how branding is tied to differentiation and positioning. Branding, differentiation, and positioning strategy. And of course, this is a product life cycle. Right? Okay, let's have an introduction first. Branding. Okay, what is a brand? A brand is a combination of name, symbol, term, or design to identify a specific product, right? Or specific products. Brands have two parts. There are two parts to the brands, right? One is brand name. That's a spoken part, brand name, right? That could be words, letters, or numbers, or graphs, whatever, okay? The name, the spoken part. Example is Nike shoes. Okay? The second part to a brand is brand mark. So almost like a trademark, right? Brand mark. These are the symbols, figures, and designs. And example, they cannot be spoken. It's just figures, right? It's a symbol. Example here is the Nike's swoosh. Okay? Nike's swoosh. Right? It's interesting to know that this Nike design, brand mark, was actually, I believe, in the 70s. Was created by a graphic design student. Her name, I believe, is Carolyn Thompson. Yeah, Carolyn Thompson. She was just a design, student, and then she came up with this swoosh, design, this logo, right? The company's top executives, they initially did not like it very much. Was not very crazy about this, but eventually we all knew that. We all know the brand picked up, and Nike became a well-known name, everywhere in the world, very successful. So some 20, 30 years later, the company actually gave her, the original designer who got paid $35 for the design. They gave her, I think, $4 million worth of stock certificate, and to thank her for her original work. So that was an interesting story. Okay? So Nike, swoosh, brand mark. Name is Nike. Okay, that's brand, and brand components in the brand name and brand mark. Okay? To be effective in branding, using branding strategy, we can think of ways that what brands can do, a good branding can do for you, effective branding can bring to your company. See, for example, if we ask this question, where can I find information quickly? You tell someone, hey, I need some information about something. How would you go about getting that? People say, hey, just Google it. Just Google it. Google is the name of the company, but Google also is a synonym of searching for and obtaining information online. Okay, that's the Google brand. Just has this power to remind people to know, or to remind people there is something called Google that can solve the problem of finding information very quickly. Okay? If you ask a question, where can I get a quick meal and make my kids happy, right? What do you think? Happy Meal. Where is it? McDonald's. McDonald's Happy Meal. Right? You think of McDonald's, you think of a quick meal for kids. Or you think of a quick meal for kids, you think of McDonald's. Right? Where can I buy everything I need? All at decent prices. Walmart, physical store, or Amazon online. Okay? These are the brands that convey these features. And where can I get the best deal on car insurance? If I've heard or have seen lots of advertisement by Geico and by Progressive, right, insurance companies. How do I find the value-priced hotel in Midtown Manhattan? Well, anywhere. Right? You go to Expedia, hotels.com. I use hotwire.com. Right? These are the things we use. So whenever we have a need or a want, we can think of certain brand names. That's the power of branding and our branding. There are attributes of a brand. There are potential brand attributes that I need you to think of. Right? This is from Kotler's book, Framework for Marketing Management. Basically, you have in the center a brand, right? A brand. There are things that are associated with a brand, right? A brand, right? There are people, people associated with a brand. There are places associated with a brand, and other brands associated with that, related to that, and other things related to the brand. Right? What are people associated with the brand? The company employees, okay? The influencers on media or social media who talk about the brand. Okay? They are the endorsers, the advertisers, fee-paying advertisers, endorsers of the brand. So there are a lot of people involved in the brand. Okay? What about the other brands? Okay? Some brands we can see, we can often encounter that the two brands are actually working together, or on a certain item you see two brand names on the same item. They are brand alliances of brand co-branding or dual brands, right? Or it's just collaboration between brands. And there are branded ingredients. Sometimes you see in one brand product that has ingredients with the brand name from another company, right? And other companies' brands, right? Or brand extensions. You have the brand, say, you have Honda cars, okay? And you can have Honda motorcycles, and you can have Honda lawnmowers. Okay? They use the brand, same brand, onto different things, different line of products. Okay? Brands are associated with certain places. Right? Country of origin is one. Right? You think of a brand Nike or McDonald's, you think of America. Right? Everyone in the world knows is an American brand. So it's like a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi-Cola. Okay? Also, the brands associated with the different places in the channels, distributions. Okay? Brands are also associated with things, many things. Right? Some events. Okay? There's some extreme sports event. You will see Red Bull, right? Red Bull, the brand in those events, sports events, extreme sports events. Right? Causes. Certain brands have associations with certain social causes, right? And third-party endorsement, third party, and mobile apps, right? All related to brand. So there are many attributes to a brand. Okay? And that's some of the things are manageable or controllable by the brand owner, the business. Some are not, cannot be controlled by you. Let's play another role play. Okay, role play. Basically, using the brand attribute, the framework we just talked about in my previous slide. Okay? I want you to construct an overall branding statement about yourself. Consider yourself, you, an individual, as a product, right? As a brand, right? You're your own brand, right? When you graduate from school or when you finish MBA program, you get a degree, and you're selling yourself, right? You're selling yourself in exchange for a job, for salary, right? What are you selling? Of course, you're not selling your physical body. You're selling your name, your education, your reputation, your insights, your ability, and your future, right? Professional future. So you are a brand of yourself, right? How would others, when you ask yourself this question, how would others, especially potential employers, look at your brand, right? How would they look at you as a brand, right? What areas do you need to improve your brand? Yeah, think about that. And does your brand answer key questions or create questions about your abilities? Okay. And you can even do a SWOT analysis. Remember the SWOT analysis? You can do that, right? And you can share that with your class or with your group. The group members can get together or share with each other about your evaluation, assessment about your own brand. Okay, let's do that role play. Okay. Let's look at some examples, right? The real world examples about certain brands. Labeling is an important consideration in marketing strategy. Yeah, label something, the brand name, or label certain brand, right? Consumers attach high brand value to American-made brands. And it's made in America is considered prestigious, right? FTC, Federal Trade Commission, requires all or virtually all components be made in USA if the label says made in USA. Right? You have to have virtually all components made in America to say that. Williams Sonoma, this company, this brand name, right? They made some false claims and they was fined for $1 million for that. So there are some labeling issues that are gray. Yeah, they have gray areas in those labeling issues. But the FTC has been criticized for failing to inflict substantial punishments on those who misuse that name, made in America, made in USA. Okay, let's talk about the issues in branding, strategic issues in branding. Okay. You may find that there are companies that promote their corporate brand. They have products, businesses have their products. The product carry different brand names. But sometimes the corporate itself, the company itself is treated as a brand, right? They call it corporate brand, right? Most firms consider their corporate brands to be equally as important as individual product-related brands. Okay, product-related brands and corporate brands are clearly intertwined. Yeah. Sometimes we cannot really we don't really distinguish between the two. We see that brand name, we may be referring to a company or product or both. Right? In some companies, the corporate brand dominates, like IBM, right? IBM, well-known brand, right? And whatever they do, whatever things they offer, the computers, they call it IBM. The services, called IBM. The consulting, I have a friend who used to work for IBM in their consulting arm, and this is IBM consulting. IBM advertises that it provides problem-solving solutions without naming specific products or problems. Right? So basically, they use the brand name, well-recognized brand name very well on other things, not just computers. IBM is no longer just a mainframe computers anymore. They're consulting, there are cloud computing, there are many other products and services they offer. Okay, branding typically starts with individual products, right? Individual product, but the principles also apply to both physical and online stores as well as services. Right? Target, we know the Target store, right? Target store. Target is a well-known brand, but a Target is not a specific product. Right? You cannot say this product is a Target brand name. Target, the Target is a store, it's a brand. Right? The Target represents the service of organizing a great product mix for its customers. Great product mix, many different kinds of products. Many carry different their own brand names, right? But it's all offered through Target, the store. Okay? Corporate branding. There are advantages of branding. Right? Branding has its advantages, right? And it's bring product, a good brand, a branding strategy brings product awareness and identification. Right? People can be aware of the brand, they can easily identify the brand, so to help with them in their shopping, in their choosing alternatives. So when you do comparison shopping, you go, hey, you want this brand or that brand? You want to buy this brand of car versus that brand of car, right? It enhances shopping efficiency, makes shopping more efficient, easier to choose, and also there is a tool for risk reduction. If we know a brand, we trust that brand, we know it's trustworthy brand, it's reliable, and it cuts down your risk, your purchasing risk. You're guaranteed to have a reliable product to use for consumption. Right? And also it signifies product acceptance. Product acceptance. And enhances the self-image and product loyalty. Self-image. Some people may view having a certain brand of items on them is something like prestigious. I have a student before in my principal marketing class. Guy's interesting. The guy is a student, an undergraduate student in business major, marketing major. He also runs a company. He would ship containers load of products, surplus products, merchandise, any kind of product. Even sometimes once he shipped tons of motorcycles to Europe. That's how he makes money. He's pretty successful. He showed me that he had two watches, Rolex watches on his hand, on his wrist, one on each side, left wrist and right wrist, two Rolex watches. I said, whoa, you like Rolex that much? Yeah, I said, oh, I love it. I just love it. He wants to show, he wants that Rolex watch to reflect his self-image, definitely. Right? And also product loyalty, simple product loyalty. Some people are just stuck with a certain brand. They're very brand loyal. They'll buy someday. Some people may say, "I only buy this brand of toothpaste, and my family only buy this brand of cars," or we are loyal fans of certain brands of restaurants, for example. Okay? These are the advantages of branding. Okay? There are some decisions you have to make as a business, as managers, with regard to branding. Okay? They are the manufacturer's brand that we see the most often. those manufacturer brand. And with branding, brand names, you can reduce costs, you can build in loyalty, you can enhance your image, you can lower your inventory, move the sales, and you incur less risk, less risky because people recognize your brand. We also see that some companies use a private label brand. A good example is called Costco. You guys go shop at Costco stores, wholesale clubs. In Costco stores, you see very often called the Kirkland brand, or Kirkland Signatures brand. That's a Costco's private label brands. You see the Kirkland signature or Kirkland signature on many things, right? On their meat products, produce, and vitamins, you name it, even everything, anything that you have same Kirkland brand. That's the in-house private brand. Do Costco make those products? No, they don't. They actually contract manufactured by somebody else, and carry, but put on Kirkland's name, Costco's private label brand name. Why do they do that? Because they get a higher profit instead of using a well-known brand, okay? And it could create drive some competitions away. They'll be less competitive, right? Sometimes they have exclusive right to only their private label brand. Right? They have total control of all those branding decisions. Right? They can also help with the building merchant loyalty. Right? People embrace those brands. Okay? Also, some strategic branding decisions. One is individual branding. That is, within the company, each product gets a different brand name. The less risk is reduced. Right? And because there's no spillover effect. If one brand goes bad, or becomes not desirable, it's not affecting other brand, right? Sara Lee, the company has many brands. They have the Ballpark Franks, the Hillshire Farm, type of sausages, Jimmy Dean's, as well as other brands. So they have several brands there. Okay? That's individual branding. Also, there's family branding. They use the same name for every product in the line. Okay? One product reflects upon others. Okay? Campbell's soups, right? For all different line of product, they all carry Campbell's brand name. It's called family branding. Okay? Individual branding versus family branding. Okay? Co-branding. Okay? We'll see, sometimes you'll see that firms form strategic brand alliance, right? They form alliances, right? They can have co-branding on the product. Like this Doritos, Locos Tacos at Taco Bell, okay? Has a Doritos brand name and Taco Bell, right? So there's two or more brands on one product, okay? Of course, they are normally on distinctive, differentiated products. It can increase perceptions of quality and the customer familiarity. People are familiar with one or two both brand names. It leverage others' brand recognition, right, for mutual benefit. That's co-branding, co-brand. Brand licensing is a contractual relationship allowing a company to use its brand on non-competing products. You return, the licensor gets a licensing fee. Okay, it's quite commonly used in toy industry, like this one, Despicable Me Monopoly. Okay, Despicable Me Monopoly. Use Monopoly, the name. Okay. Brand values, right? Does brand name have values? Of course, it does have values, right? And brand loyalty is one way that brand can accumulate values. Right? What is brand loyalty? Brand loyalty is a positive attitude toward the brand that causes customers to have a consistent preference for that brand. Okay, for that brand. And there are 3 degrees of brand loyalty. Okay? The one is a brand recognition. Now, the customer knows about the brand and is considering it as one of several alternatives in the evoked set. Remember what the evoked set is? Okay? You recognize the brand. Oh, yeah, I remember that brand. All right, that's in my evoked set. I'll think about that. Okay, that's just recognizing the brand. Brand preference is higher level. Okay? A customer prefers this brand to competitive brands and willing to purchase this brand if it is available. Okay? That's the preference. That's stronger ties with the customer and with the brand. Okay? And the highest level is the brand insistence. Brand insistence. The customer will insist on that. The customer will go out of their way to find the brand and will accept no substitute. I must have this one. Yeah. Got to have your burritos. Okay. So you have to have it. That's the only one I want. I'll go to another store, I'll go to another, drive miles to get it. Okay? The value of a brand to the firm is often referred to as brand equity. Brand equity, this term is used very often. That's the value of the brand, okay? Including brand loyalty and assets in the brand. That's brand equity. Okay? Brand associations. Brand associations include the brand's image, attributes, or benefits that either directly or indirectly gave the brand a certain personality. Yeah, you find some brand names have certain personality. People associated with certain things, certain characteristics, and that's healthy, warm, give a positive image or affinity and associations with a brand. So that's brand associations. Okay. These are the world's most valuable brands. There are companies evaluating the brand equity. They actually just evaluate, give a name, put a dollar amount, maybe hundred millions of dollars or billions of dollars on certain names. Apple is definitely a great, well-known brand. Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, Coca-Cola, Samsung, Disney, Toyota, McDonald's, AT&T, Louis Vuitton, Intel, Nike, and Cisco. Okay, I think among all these most valuable brands in the world, I think Samsung is Korean, Toyota is Japanese, Louis Vuitton is French, and the rest, I believe the rest are all American brands. Okay, American brands. Packaging and labeling. Okay, packaging and labeling. Packaging provides protection, right, and storage and convenience. Right? And also packaging and labeling also play a role in product modification and repositioning. When you want to reposition your product, you put something on the label, on the packaging. Okay, packaging and labeling can improve functionality of the product. It can amplify your branding. It's more durable containers. Sometimes more durable containers are reusable. People will keep them once they finish the product, the content inside. They reuse container, therefore carrying your brand name. Going on. So keeping having a presence or showing to other people. Okay? And there is recycled packaging, resealable packaging. I love that resealable packaging. If you have a snack, something In the plastic bag, you have it can be resealed. It's convenience to you and save a lot of hassle, right? Individual but sold in bulk, you can do that. That's all about packaging. Okay? Let's talk about differentiation and positioning. Differentiation, positioning. What is differentiation? Okay? Differentiation is to create the differences in product offerings that set it apart from competition. Set yourself apart from your competition. You differentiate yourself, right? You need to possess distinct product features, added services, and relates to product and marketing programs. Okay, that's differentiation strategy. Okay? Positioning strategy. Position is not the position of your product on the shelf in the store, where it is on the shelf in the store. That's not positioning. Positioning is mental. Okay, is you're creating a mental image of the product offerings that sets it apart from competitors. It's in the consumer's mind, right? Differentiating features in the consumer's minds. You actually occupy a position in the minds of the consumers. They think of you as certain ways, certain things, right? Consumers' perceptions of the real or perceived benefits. That's the positioning. Okay, like Tesla. What do you think of Tesla car? Tesla, you think of the highest news in technology, electric, reliable, and had this self-driving features, most advanced, things like that. Trader Joe's, they don't carry too big of brand names, but they carry a lot of indigenous brand, local brand, very high quality products. Nike, Apple, similar, right? They all take a certain spot or keep a certain position in the minds of consumers worldwide. That's positioning. Differentiation but positioning. Right? How do you create a positive positioning? Of course, you want your brand name to be associated with some good positive feelings or good positions in the mind of consumers. You don't want them to consider yourself to have this bad image in their minds about you, right? So you want to create positive positioning. Things you can do, you can identify needs, wants, and preferences desired by the target market. Okay. You can evaluate the differentiation positioning of current potential competitors. Yeah, think about others, your competitors. Look at the competitor's position. You compare your firm's current relative position vis-a-vis the competition. Right? The two brands, yours and the competitors. Yeah. Where do you occupy, in the minds of consumers? How do consumers see you versus your competitor? Okay? You want to incorporate the vision of disruptive technologies and competition. Right? And you want to identify unique differentiation and positioning not offered by the competition that matches the firm's capabilities. You have certain capabilities, unique capabilities. You can position yourself, identify and create a different unique positioning compared with in contrast to that of your competitor. You can develop a marketing program that creates the firm's position in the minds of the target market. And of course, you want to continually reassess to affirm, to create, to maintain good positive positions you have in the minds of consumers. And in positioning analysis or strategic decision making, we use something called a perceptual map. It's a perceptual map. Yeah. If you look at cars, automobiles, look at different brand automobiles, there are two dimensions we can look at. Some cars are more sporty, okay? Some are more conservative. So what on the x-axis is sporty versus conservative. And then you look at also you can look at how expensive it is, and expensive or not so expensive, right? And it could be very expensive, distinctive, or just affordable and practical. Okay, you can put different brands of cars in different according to these two parameters. Okay, classifying them, put on the map. You can see Tesla, Porsche, BMW are considered expensive and also sporty. Okay, right? And Mercedes and Cadillac, Lincoln are considered expensive but conservative. Right? And Honda, Toyota, and are considered sporty but affordable. Okay? And then Dodge or Ford are considered conservative and also affordable. Okay? So, and that's the positioning, the perceptual map, or also what the consumers consider you as the position you occupy in their minds, in the perceptions. Mm-hmm. And of course, you don't have to use just these two parameters. You can use other things to measure and to form your perceptual map. Okay? Strategy canvas is something else you can use, to compare you versus competitors. This example of Lyft versus Uber, right? To ride-hailing services. And the blue is Uber, and the purple is Lyft. And you're looking at their certain characteristics, being low or high on the y-axis. You can look at items like pricing, low pricing, ride options, cities served, global cities served, US cities served, other delivery services, rewards program, promotions, and perceived safety, etc. Right? What do you see here? Yeah. If you're Lyft, Lyft seems to be pretty low, lower than Uber in virtually most of this here, right? From ride options, cities served, delivery services, reward program, lower, right? Uber are better than that. They're all of them, right? But Lyft does have certain advantages though in pricing. Uber is higher in pricing, score higher than low pricing, and also they score higher on promotions and perceived safety. They're considered safer, right? Safer than Uber. Okay? So you can use this strategy canvas to show the different the strengths and weakness of yourself versus your competitor. Okay? Basis for differentiation. How do you differentiate your product, your brand, from the other competing brands? Right? There are different bases. The brand is most important, and the real qualities, the psychological qualities, right, are the things that you can use. You can differentiate yourself as being the really high quality products. Yeah. And then you can use the product descriptors, such as features, advantages, and benefits, right, to differentiate yourself. Or you can differentiate yourself from your competitor by the level of customer support and services you can provide. Okay? This is an example, product descriptor example for Bounty. Bounty has a selected size paper towels. Right? They can use their features, their Bounty's selected size paper towel. It has this feature, can be torn into varying sizes, small or large, more seats per roll, strong materials. Right? That's the features. The advantages, it can apply to any size of job. You waste less and superior absorption. Okay? The benefits to the consumers, the more control over cleaning, reduced cost. Okay? You can use these product descriptor to differentiate yourself or from your competition. Okay? Let's talk about positioning strategy. Positioning strategy, you can use the strategy, you use that to strengthen your current position. Yeah, you strengthen position. You can monitor target markets wants and satisfaction. You can continually raise the bar, make customer expectation higher. Yeah. Or you can sometimes you may want to find a new positioning. Yeah, it may require a focus on new products, like Apple embraces innovations and constantly giving us new positions, new positions. Knowledge check. Generally, what is the most important tool of differentiation? Is the brand, the product descriptors, customer support services, or advantages and benefits? Pause for a second, okay? Then come up with your answer and then resume. Okay? It's a brand. Okay, it's a brand. Okay, let's talk about managing your brands over time. Managing your brands over time. Okay. There's a product life cycle stage that we talked about before. Industry sales going up, then reach maturity highs, and then go down. Industry profits, below at a loss first, and then gradually pick up, become profitable, and then go down as well. But the profits probably go down faster or sooner than the sales. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay, the different stages for the product life cycle: development, introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Okay. Development stage, no revenue during the product innovation development. Okay. Net cash outflow from expenses, high risk, financial risk, marketing risk, and opportunity risk. Right? You begin with a concept. And you develop a prototype. The development stage. Introduction stage. Once development is done, is complete, you introduce to the target market. Right? You can use different marketing strategies to achieve different goals during this introduction stage. Induce trial, engage customer education, strengthen expand your channel and supply chain, build on availability and visibility of the product, setting price objectives, right, to benefit. Right? And the length of stage can vary. Right? Some occur long, some very short. Then the growth stage is there's an upward sales curve. It grows fast, and profit should also increase rapidly. Yeah. And then the length also varies. You have two main priorities here, right? Establish a strong market position you can defend, defensible, and also achieve financial objectives by repay your investment, earn enough profit for long-term commitment, right? To justify your long-term commitment to the product. That's growth stage. Okay? And then the goal for growth stage, you leverage your perceived differential advantage to secure a strong market position, establish a brand identity, create a unique positioning, okay? Maintain control over quality, maximize the availability, make it available, distribute it everywhere, maintain your ability to deliver profits to key channel partners, find the ideal balance between price and demand, and always keep an eye and focus on the competition, because that's when they start to come in. Okay. Growth stage, your strategy shifts, right? You want to build loyalty, brand loyalty. You want to encourage repeat purchases. Right? Pricing becomes more challenging. Competitors are entering the markets. There's a balance between price and cash needs. Right? You need to build a defensible position into maturity stage. During the growth stage. Now, in the maturity stage, maturity is normally often the longest stage. There are four goals here. You generate positive cash flow, hold your market share, or leave it. exit, right? You want to steal market share from competitors. You increase your share of customers, right? To achieve these goals, you have to have several options. You develop a new product image. You find and attract new users, discover new applications of the product, new user product, and apply new technology to the product during the maturity stage to make it longer, even longer. Nintendo is an example. Nintendo used to be just for kids, a game system for kids, and then they rebranded. They relaunched. They launched new ones, new Wii with WII in 2006. Now they're appealing to both adults and children. Okay, both adults and children. Decline stage. The sales plateaued, and the decline is happening, right? Revenue decline is declining. So you have two basic options here. You can attempt to postpone the decline, if you can. If not, accept the inevitable. Just accept the inevitable. You can do a harvesting strategy, gradual cut in more marketing spending, funnel cash into other new product development, harvesting, or divesting. You're not investing, divesting, pull all marketing support, can keep the product or even sell it to other companies, right? Other companies, well, the product's in decline in this country, in America, in the US, maybe in Europe, in developed countries. It could be in introduction or growth stage in other countries. So it's a good idea to consider selling your business to other companies, maybe in a developing country. So you will find buyers. Yeah, you'll be surprised that there are companies in other countries that are looking for opportunities like this. They're just one step behind. Okay. Decline stage, your strategies, your try to keep your loyal customers. There's still segment potential. Attract customers from competitors in decline. Right? Use low-cost producers may be able to hold on. And real market deterioration is pretty bad. Okay. Quick check. Okay, true or false? During the maturity stage, no more firms will enter the market unless they have found some product innovation significant enough to attract large numbers of customers. True or false? Your answer? It is true. Okay, it is true. Okay. So to summarize, right? Basically, we define the brand, remember, brand name and brand mark. Okay. You have good understanding. Should have good understanding about the strategic issues in branding, and how branding is tied to differentiation and positioning. Branding, differentiation, and positioning, and also know the product life cycle stages. Okay, that's all I have for this chapter. Thank you, and I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.